This is Monkey World in Dorset, the largest ape and monkey rescue centre on the planet. Today on Monkey Life, there's some strange behaviour down at the Capuchin enclosure.
If you put an intelligent animal into a small, barren environment, you go a wee bit stir-crazy.
Baby woolly monkey Paolo is tempted outside by some delicious grubs. And the team have a radical plan for the third meeting between youngster Ben and alpha male Hananya.
What do you feel about just not interfering for 1 minute?
We'll try.
I mean,
yeah.
But will they hold their nerve when Hananya attacks? Monkey World's 60 chimps live in 4 social groups. Occasionally, integrating new members into one of these groups can be difficult. Over in the office, Cara, animal director Jeremy, and visiting primate specialists Mike and Leanne Bates are watching footage of the recent unsuccessful meetings between alpha male Hananya and youngsters Ben and Pip, to help them come up with a new plan.
It looked like Ben just started screaming like a madman.
I don't blame him.
He is really tying him up like in a ball. You know, he's like grabbing him and holding him down and thumping, and it's not kind of just like a big slap and walk away. He's...
The first time Hananya met Ben, he attacked and seriously wounded the young chimp.
I told you about playing with the big boys before. Yes, I did. I told you about playing with big boys like that.
But the team were determined not to give up. They blunted the tips of Hananya's lethal canine teeth and introduced Ben and Pip to the group's high-ranking females in the hope that they would protect the youngsters from the alpha male. But Hananya continued to attack Ben, and the introductions had to be stopped for a second time. Today, the team are planning a third meeting. And after reviewing the footage, they've come to a surprising conclusion. Hananya's attacks on Ben might not be as bad as they look.
still, it's dominance, aggression. I don't think it's a lethal attack at all. If he really wanted to hurt him, he had plenty of chances to, because he was doing a lot of pounding, holding, grabbing, not that much biting.
It may be that Hananya is simply asserting his dominance as alpha male.
Because we know he's going to pound, he's going to grab him, he's going to pull him, he's going to drag him around.
Yeah. Problem is, it always looks extreme.
Yeah.
In the past, fire extinguishers were used to break up the meetings. But this strategy has its own problems.
I have a little bit of doubt about the benefit of the fire extinguisher so quickly. I don't think it's a huge deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, and you can actually fuel it by joining in.
Yeah, and it hampers our vision of what's going on also.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they're going to have to work it out,
Yeah.
you know, forever on.
So Mike puts forward a radical new idea.
And what do you feel about just not interfering for 1 minute?
We'll try.
I mean,
yeah.
the initial contact, we'll count to 60.
Yeah.
We won't interfere.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and get Hananya. Yeah, because if we don't do it right now, we're not doing it
Yeah,
today.
we need to do it.
Okay.
But later, will the team hold their nerve when Hananya targets Ben yet again? And will woolly monkey Paolo brave it off the fence for a creepy crawly? Across the park at the female Capuchin house, the monkeys are in a spin. And park director Alison has come to see what's happening.
Hello, Jill. Good morning. Where's Terry gone?
This strange head-turning and twisting is a result of their years spent living in small cages in a lab in Chile. Before Monkey World rescued them, many of these Capuchins had lived in solitary confinement for up to 20 years.
If you put an intelligent animal into a small, barren environment, you go a wee bit stir-crazy. So running in a circle. I mean, they turn in a space this big. Gosh, that's the space of the cage. You see funny head twisting thing, and that was because in the lab when they walked to the edge of their box that's only this big, what do? Well, you have to turn around and go back the other way. So you get these really pronounced, extreme arching and head flicking behaviors.
It may look alarming, but here at the park, there's a very simple way that care staff can help the Capuchins shed these strange behaviors.
By encouraging them to do more natural activities, all of those abnormal behaviors will just fall by the wayside, because the Capuchin monkeys know in their minds and in their hearts by instinct what they need to be doing, and that's living with others of their own kind and leading natural Capuchin lives.
Although the Capuchins instinctively know what to do, for many of them, adjusting to a more natural way of life is not so easy. Their enclosures have been carefully designed to help them adapt.
You'll see that wherever there's a hose for them to walk across, there's always a second hose just a meter or so up above the other one. So if you're a bit unsure on your feet and can't negotiate walking across that hose, there's always a tail hold.
And the Capuchins are also encouraged to forage for their own food.
And already these guys are hunting. I see this morning they've been in the bushes hunting insects. All really good natural behavior that, of course, wasn't even possible in the lab.
For some, these unnatural actions are so ingrained that they'll probably never go away. But now even these individuals are happy grooming, catching insects and climbing. And the team have other ideas to encourage even more natural behaviour. It's crunch time over at Hananya's house. Ben and Pip are about to meet alpha male Hananya for the third time. If Hananya attacks Ben, as he has done in previous meetings, the staff may be forced to remove Ben from the group permanently and separate him from his best friend, Pip. Everything hangs on this meeting. And this time, in the event of an attack, the team have agreed not to intervene for at least 60 seconds. They want to see if Hananya's display of dominance will play itself out. It's a risky strategy, but it's Ben's last option. Hananya comes in typical alpha male style, making himself look big and powerful.
Good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good lad.
And he immediately targets Ben. As agreed, the team hold back. But amazingly, the females step in and attack Hananya.
That was better.
Very good.
Nobody's ever defended like that.
This contact lasted 56 seconds, just below the 60-second cut-off point. It seems that the team's new strategy is working, and the females are also doing their job of protecting Ben.
Good girl.
Was that Pip hanging on his leg?
That's never happened before.
Oh, that was kind of a neat thing to see.
Good girl. Well done. Show him.
Hananya has never been challenged before, and the experience has left him confused. And Ben is sensibly staying as far away from him as possible.
I don't think I've seen a young male as calm as what Ben is when confronted with a big male. So actually that's obviously going to help a lot. Ben is a very, very, very together little boy. And when you think about what he's been confronted with and what he's gone through, again, that's helped no end, the fact that he hasn't fallen apart.
At Monkey World in Dorset, most of the babies born here live a natural life with their mothers. But occasionally the primate care staff have to step in and bring them up until they can be reunited with others of their own kind. 6-month-old woolly monkey Paolo has just moved into Bueno's group. He was hand-reared after being rejected by his mother, but now he's been reintroduced to the Woolies full-time and he's settling in really well. Except for one thing. He's a brave little monkey and he's slowly getting used to the outdoor enclosure, but he hasn't been daring enough to let go of that fence just yet. So to tempt him down, the group have been given a tasty treat of waxworms and crickets, hidden in a rotten log pile. Food is very important to these monkeys, as they eat up to 1/3 of their body weight every day, and they really love grubs. And Paolo's tempted, clinging onto the fence with just one hand while the rest of the troop get in there and start picking off the bugs. Just to add insult to injury, the other youngster in the group, 4-month-old Inca, has hitched a ride on her mum's back straight to the creepy crawlies. And she might even be able to get one, if Mum would just keep still for a moment. Finally, Paolo's courage deserts him. He's right back on that fence and he's not getting down for anybody. To make sure he doesn't miss out, Keeper Emma gives him his share of delicious, crunchy waxworms. And once he gets a taste of them, it won't be long before he's off the fence and finding some for himself. Later, the Capuchin boys are in a frenzy over some smelly onions. And the chimp girls hit back when Hananya targets Ben once again.
He may well think twice before he does that
again. Across the park at the female Capuchin house, as part of the plan to encourage more natural behaviour, the team are busy planting some tasty herbs. In the wild, Capuchins rub strong-smelling leaves and fruits into their fur to act as insect repellent, and it's a great social activity too. Many of the Capuchins have never seen these plants before, and it's not long before their curious nature means they're checking them out.
A lot of these behaviors are just instinctual, and if you provide the rescue monkeys and apes with the correct environment and with, therefore, the correct encouragement, all of those natural behaviors will come out, even if they're animals that have been born in an unnatural environment, have been kept in unnatural circumstances, and have lived for years in that deprived environment. It's all still there. They know how to be Capuchin monkeys. You just have to encourage them to do so.
And these smelly herbs seem to be doing the trick.
We're trying to let the Capuchins be able to pick their own garlic, to pick their own chives, to pick their own chamomile, basil, all different sort of fragrant things, so that, you know, if that's what you want, you know, you can go over and pick a little bit of something, rub your fur, or just relax, or simply lay around in a lovely smelling, fragrant area where insects are also coming in that might be a tasty treat.
They all seem to love the herbs, and by the looks of it, the keepers will have to get growing a whole lot more. Over at the lodge, and it's the males' turn to get their own strong-smelling plants. But for them, there are no delicate herbs. They've been given something far smellier: onions. These boys love onions. Actually, they don't just love onions, they drive them completely crazy. But the tricky bit is getting the skins off first. However, they've come up with a clever solution. If you bang your onions hard enough, eventually they will crack. Now they've got the hang of it, the leader of the group, Gorillon, is dribbling with excitement about the prospect of getting into his onion. But like the herbs, onions aren't necessarily just for eating. And amazingly, these boys behave just like wild Capuchins as soon as they arrived from Chile.
We were quite surprised when we made that long journey and got back here, and the first evening meal included some onions, and instantaneously several of them knew exactly what to do with the onions. Fur rubbing all over the place, which is a very natural, instinctual behavior. Basically, we're giving them the keys back to their own lives again.
So the skins are off, and the males are getting down to the serious business of rubbing onions all over themselves. This natural behaviour is a great group activity. And to make sure every single inch of fur is coated, they use every limb possible. Encouraging these instinctive behaviours should help prevent them falling back into their old habits of head twisting and pacing from their days in the lab. So, even if their enclosure ends up smelling terribly of odour onion, if this helps them get over their experience as lab animals and to live a more normal life, it will be worth it. Back at Hananya's, it's been half an hour since youngster Ben was attacked by the big alpha male. Ben seems unhurt, but the team are watching anxiously. Hananya is clearly getting wound up, but instead of lashing out at Ben, he displays his dominance, just as an alpha male should.
Well, it looks like it's dissipating to more of displays than actual contact.
It's a reminder. And does he think he's made his point? That's
Yep. Well, he may have to make his point a couple more times, but I think that just showed that he's not trying to kill him. He's just making his point, which, you know, you gotta do.
But Hananya's getting more and more agitated, and finally, he vents his frustration and makes a beeline for Ben. But this time, his behaviour is different. He drags Ben around and pounds him, but doesn't bite. It might look severe, but this is the kind of behaviour the team expect to see between an alpha male and a lower-ranking male. So everyone's hanging back, including the female chimps.
He's pounded him, but I didn't see him open his mouth at all to bite him.
But suddenly, Hananya's behaviour changes. He tries to bite Ben. And immediately, the females react. They're making it very clear to Hananya that they won't allow him to hurt Ben.
He may well think twice before he does that again.
Hananya's group has now challenged him for the second time, and he's clearly shocked by what just happened.
the Ben Defence Committee is alive and well.
That was amazing. And you know, again, they were really staying back until it looked like he wanted to go after more intense after Ben.
I tell you what, as soon as he went to bite him,
That's what it
that
looked
was
like to me.
that was
They
the trigger.
jumped- they
That
jumped
was the
in.
trigger.
At last, a successful meeting between Hananya and Ben. And while Hananya's left nursing a bruised ego, the team are feeling confident enough to leave them together in the same room.
Tell you what we've got now, though, what we didn't have before. They liked Ben, but he was still the new kid on the block, so you're not going to put your neck on the line. Now you will. He's now a mate, and you will go over the line for him.
It was just a mob. It was a mob of girls going after him to let go of Ben.
Well, it's like you must have whispered into everyone's ear the day before to do exactly the appropriate thing, and they did it. It was, I mean, I couldn't imagine a better scenario working out than what happened.
Ben is still wary, but Hananya seems to be taking a while to recover.
So Jeremy, is he taking a rest for round 2?
He's just trying to get both brain cells pointing in the same direction to work out what's going on. I think at the moment, Hananya's just taking it all in. He's a big boy. Nobody's ever questioned his position. Nobody's ever questioned his authority. Now somebody has for the first time. And although we're all friends again and it's okay, but he's got to get his head around that. You know, he's actually got to start abiding by rules now, which is very good. I mean, it's all part of his job and him realising what any middle-aged bloke knows, that women are in charge. You don't mess with the women.
So Ben's future looks a little more promising now that he has girl power on his side. Next time, there's been a scuffle with the female Capuchins, and Tia has a nasty bite wound.
She's got a severe wound on her back. It's one of the worst we've had so far in the Capuchins.
Orangutan Amy is heavily pregnant and very grumpy with it. And it's time for Alison to say goodbye to Paolo, the baby woolly monkey she hand-reared.
I think this is it. I think it's time for Paolo to graduate. He's now a fully functioning member of the woolly monkey group, and our task here is done.